On July 21, 2025, at Trinity Forest Golf Club in Dallas, the atmosphere wasn't tense because of the weather, it was the weight of expectation. It marked the beginning of the 76th U.S. Junior Amateur Championship, but the spotlight wasn't on a top-seeded veteran. It was on a 15-year-old stepping onto one of junior golf's most demanding stages, Charlie Woods. And he didn't arrive alone. A large crowd followed his every step. Reporters lined the ropes, and inside the fairway, silently observing with his hat low and arms crossed, stood Tiger Woods himself. No one needed reminding, this wasn't just another young golfer. This was Tiger's son. Charlie had earned this moment. Just weeks earlier, he clinched a hard-fought AJ victory that shook up the junior circuit, followed by a nerve-wracking 3-4-1 playoff in Coral Springs, where he nailed a clutch birdie to claim the final qualifying spot for the U.S. Junior. Nothing was handed to him, he took it. By the time he teed off in Dallas, the buzz was undeniable. Golf Monthly called him a dangerous wildcard, and NBC analysts noted his growing maturity on the course. Every camera was fixed on him. Every swing had the potential to make headlines. For Charlie, this was more than a tournament, it was a dream realized and a trial by fire. And as he stepped up to that first tee, eyes locked forward, Tiger watched quietly from behind, just steps behind his father. Charlie's presence made one thing clear: he wasn't there to be admired, he was there to compete. His walk, his demeanor, his calm, they all signaled readiness. Everything looked right, all the ingredients for something special seemed to be in place. But what happened next, no one, not even Tiger, could have foreseen. By mid-morning on July 21st, the buzz had turned into stunned silence. Charlie Woods, after months of steady progress and rising expectations, began his U.S. Junior Amateur campaign with a shocking 81-11 over par, dropping him into a tie for 242nd out of 264 players. In just 18 holes, he went from dark horse to distant long shot. The unraveling began early. Off the tee, Charlie's normally controlled game was all over the place, drives slicing left, pushed right, or dying in the rough. He couldn't find fairways, and the price was steep: 2 double bogeys and a string of bogeys that quickly inflated his score. What started as a shaky start turned into a full-blown collapse. Golf Monthly didn't sugarcoat it, calling it an uphill task before day 2 even began. By the 5th hole, the energy in the crowd had shifted. The cheers faded into whispers, phones lowered, cameras clicked less. The crowd was still watching, but now with concern, not curiosity. On the back 9, Charlie showed a brief spark, draining to birdies, including a smooth 12-footer on the par 3 13th. But by then, the damage was done. The rhythm was lost and there was no getting it back. The confidence never came back. Every small step forward was met with 2 steps back. What made the struggle even more striking was the body language, both Charlie's and Tiger's, as Yahoo Sports reported. The defining moment came when Charlie looked up at his father, then back down again. No words were exchanged, just a heavy silence, a mutual understanding that things were falling apart. Charlie left the 18th green without fanfare, no wave to the crowd, no interaction, just a slow, quiet walk to the clubhouse, cap pulled low. What began with high hopes ended in near silence. This wasn't just a rough round, it was a complete unraveling. Watching it unfold live was difficult enough, but breaking down the numbers afterward made it even more sobering. According to NBC Sports and WFAA, Charlie Woods posted one of the worst statistical rounds of the entire day at Trinity Forest. The problem started with the driver. He hit just 3 out of 14 fairways, among the lowest in the field. And in a championship setup, beginning hole after hole from deep rough or worse is a recipe for disaster. The fairway numbers alone painted the picture of a round that never had a chance to build momentum, and matters didn't improve around the greens. His scrambling, his ability to save par after missing greens was virtually non-existent. Over and over, Charlie missed his mark, then followed it with either a poor chip or a missed short putt. The miscues piled up, and with them, the round slipped further out of reach. Charlie's putting numbers hovered in the danger zone, turning even bogeys into battles and sowing doubt with every short miss. The putter, often called the equalizer, betrayed him. His putts per hole averaged a full stroke above the field standard. On fast, firm greens like those at Trinity Forest, that gap is massive, the difference between staying alive in the tournament and free-falling. NBC noted that Charlie had 35 total putts, while most players within the cut line had 28 or fewer. And then there was momentum, or the lack of it. For double bogeys don't just wreck a scorecard, they derail confidence, rhythm, and any chance of recovery. Every time it seemed like Charlie might settle in, another big number sent him crashing back down in the end. He finished a staggering 12 shots behind the projected cut line of +2. That's not just a bad day, it's a collapse. Statistically, Charlie didn't just struggle, he was outmatched. And with every swing, the match play cut line drifted further out of reach. As he walked off the 18th green, the cameras didn't just linger on him, they shifted immediately to the figure behind him, Tiger Woods, hat pulled low, arms folded, eyes fixed forward, no expression, no words. All day, Tiger had walked every step with Charlie inside the ropes. But what stood out wasn't his presence, it was his silence. In past tournaments he'd crouch beside Charlie, offer quiet advice, a fist bump, even a smile. But not this time. No pep talks, no whispers of encouragement, just the distant murmur of the crowd and the crunch of spikes on Bermuda grass. Multiple reporters took note. Yahoo Sports called it a presence felt more in absence. Sports outlets described Tiger Woods as visibly tense yet composed, while Golf Monthly noted that his expression didn't change even after Charlie's fourth double bogey. That stillness, that unreadable look, spoke volumes, and maybe that's what made the moment feel so heavy. This wasn't just about a teenager struggling under pressure, it was about what the moment represented. A generational torch flickering in the wind. The greatest golfer of all time watching his son stumble, not as a coach, not as a cheerleader, but simply as a father. Commentators began to wonder if the pressure was finally cutting both ways. Tiger has done everything possible to shield Charlie from the crushing weight of expectation, but how do you escape a name like Woods when it's stitched on your bag and your dad is just 3 feet behind you every step of the way? And Charlie, after multiple bogeys, glanced back at Tiger, not with panic, but with uncertainty, as if asking, "What now?" Sometimes silence says more than any outburst ever could. Day 2 at Trinity Forest brought clearer skies, gentler winds, and one final shot at redemption. To his credit, Charlie came out fighting. His second rounder, 74, 3 over par, was sharper, more disciplined. The wild double bogeys were gone. His body language had strengthened. But in championship golf, composure doesn't always translate to survival. His final total, plus 14 across 2 days, 12 shots short of the match play cut at plus 2. His name wasn't even close. NBC Sports called it one of the most high-profile exits of the week, not just because of his last name, but because many truly believed Charlie's game was ready to speak for itself, and that belief wasn't just hype. Just weeks earlier, in Coral Springs, Charlie had birdied the final hole of a brutal playoff under immense pressure, a moment that showed poise beyond his years. That was the version of Charlie Woods the golf world had hoped to see this week. Focused, fearless, and free. Instead, they saw a teenager still finding his way in the harshest spotlight imaginable. And that spotlight isn't going anywhere. Every round he plays, every event he enters, will be broadcast, analyzed, dissected. He doesn't just carry clubs, he carries a legacy. That's a burden number 15-year-old should have to bear, but it's the one he now carries. Still, there's something powerful in showing up after a collapse. Something meaningful in that second round 74 in the grind. The effort, the refusal to fold that speaks louder than the scoreboard. Greatness isn't forged in highlight reels. It's built in recovery, in adversity, in silence. Is this the making of a champion or the start of a brutal reckoning? Either way, Charlie's story is only beginning.